Priest are back with the second single of their upcoming 19th studio album, Invincible Shield. And in all honesty, it is nothing like I expected it would be. Just like Panic Attack, Trial by Fire opens with yet another lengthy and epic guitar intro, somewhat reminiscent of that of Judas Rising or Hellrider. And just running a little bit ahead of myself, it is this Angel of Retribution vibe, although updated and somewhat perfected, that to me is the most prevalent throughout the entire track. And yet, Trial by Fire intro is in fact very different from that of the first single. An epic church bell sound together with Rob's outer-worldly chant almost mesmerize you, and instead of pumping you up before yet another skull-crushing rager, create this enchanting feeling, setting you up for a rather reflective mood for the entire song. Overall, I really wonder where this song would fit on the album's tracklist, as to me personally, with its intro, it looks like it would be a great opener for the second part of the record. As yes, I still think of albums in terms of them having two different sides for some reason. Classic. But either way, in the verse, which starts at over a minute into the song, Judas Priest keep up with the same general theme started up in the intro without trying to explode in energy, yet slowly building the momentum for what is to come after the second chorus. What I absolutely love about Trial by Fire is the whole fact that the boys were able to make it sound dark and heavy without really trying to make it heavy. It is a track in which each instrument and each part contributes to the overall sound in a very cohesive manner. In fact, making it a much heavier song to me than the aforementioned Panic Attack, without the same speed and aggression, which is especially audible in the song's melodic chorus. By the way guys, here just really quickly wanted to point out that only around 30% of the people who are watching my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel, so if you for some reason still haven't done so, and especially if this is not your first Defenders of the Faith video you're watching on this channel, please consider doing that right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together.
We're gonna have a good time. Always.
But anyways, right at the song's equator comes possibly one of the most unexpected parts of this track. A rather unusual and a very modern sounding midsection, something you don't really expect from Judas Priest, yet at the same time it is this part which becomes a cherry on top of the cake. Trial by Fire! The double down guitar sound together with the change in Rob Halford's voice tone create this almost haunting feeling, resulting in this section being possibly the darkest in the entire composition and very much in vein with modern tendencies in metal, yet still setting the scene for this classic Priest guitar work which is to follow shortly after. Life is so cruel and unbearable. I can't let you get in my way. Yet the man of the hour here, to me personally, is nobody else but Ian Hill, who, leading this rhythm section, was able to pierce through the heavy guitar sound and whose work was nicely underlined by Andy Sneap's production. In fact, from the bass sound in this breakdown, it almost feels like Ian has put down his pick once again and played this part of the song with his fingers, just like he did back in the 70s. And now, of course, I'm not 100% sure about this, but this is what it felt like when I quickly tried to isolate the bass part for this track, so please let me know what you guys personally think about it.
After all these years, I still find playing with the pick a bit awkward.
But the one thing is clear is that it is this bass which has added so much richness and fullness to the overall sound of this breakdown that it makes it one of the strongest parts of this song overall. And I'm 100% sure that it will sound absolutely insane live. What I need now is a miracle to get to the end of each day. And by the way, talking about live shows, Judas Priest have already announced close to 50 dates of their 2024 Invincible Shield tour, with the support acts of Sabaton, Saxon, and Uriah Heep, as well as several headline performances at massive festivals. And here's the thing, if you're still contemplating whether to see Judas Priest live next year or not, I honestly have no idea what you're thinking about. In addition to Priest, of course, having a very strong back catalog with so many old songs we'd love to hear From the first two singles of Invincible Shield, it looks like their new material is written specifically for being played live, and it looks like will open up best when being performed in front of the thousands of metal maniacs. The truth is that I truly hope that I and thousands of Ukrainian boys and girls who had their tickets ready for the 2022 show in Kyiv, Ukraine, will be able to see this band live once again. So guys, please continue supporting Ukraine so that that dream can come true next year. After the mid-section, the song naturally progresses into the main guitar solo, a very bluesy one, done in a vein of this classic Glenn Tipton sound, although I'm pretty sure that it is actually played on the record by Richie. What I like about this solo is that despite it being rather straightforward and not having this classic dueling guitar component Priest are known for, it succeeds at complementing and closing the line started by this mid-section without actually dragging too much attention to itself from the overall song's theme. A strange thing about Trial by Fire is that despite this song not being overloaded with lyrics, it is those that actually add quite a lot to its heaviness and the overall atmosphere, raising a natural question of what it is actually about.
All right, here's an opportunity to be creative.
Now, the most obvious thing for us to assume, of course, would be that Trial by Fire is literally about the infamous trial which Judas Priest had been put through in the early 90s.
I mean, we learned a lot of big words, we're gonna, precognitive subconscious or something. Superliminal.
And lines like falsely accused and commands and no crime, of course, would add quite a lot to that claim. Yet, for some weird reason, I actually see this track being more about an abusive relationship than about anything else.
What?
Which I guess just once again shows that its meaning, just like pretty much all of Rob Halford's lyrics, can be interpreted in pretty much any way you want to, depending on your personal relationship with this song. And talking about Rob Halford, one of the biggest questions for many Judas Priest fans, of course, was the state of Rob Halford's voice, and whether that rather extraordinary and unnatural performance he did on Panic Attack was not an incident. And here's the thing, and I know that many unbelievers might start talking about the magic of modern technology, and of course I do understand that there's some of it present in this production, but still, no matter what anyone says, but being able to pull out something like this when you're 72 years old is at the very least freaky. But still, Trial by Fire is very different from Panic Attack. And here's the thing, it is Panic Attack with its raw energy, speed and aggression which made me very excited that I pre-ordered Invincible Shield right away. So has the change in direction in the second single disappointed me? Not at all. Trial by Fire has opened a completely different side of Invincible Shield, in a way much more straightforward and complex at the same time, and it did its job perfectly, making me even more excited about Invincible Shield than I already was. And in all honesty, I had no idea that it was even possible. To me, Panic Attack was a very straight-in-your-face kind of song, which you either love or you don't right away, when Trial by Fire is a track which grows on you with every listen. And knowing my relationship with the Priest catalog, it is usually such tracks which I tend to come back to the most as the time goes on. And here's the thing, if the rest of the record is as strong as the first two singles, Judas Priest's 19th studio album might actually be a worthy contender for the place in the top of the entire Judas Priest catalog. And I don't throw that phrase lightly. Judas Priest is the band which has been with me through pretty much my entire life. And this is exactly why I have a very high bar for it. Yet the songs from the upcoming record which I have heard so far are exactly what I want to hear from the modern day Judas Priest. And yes, I simply cannot wait for the entire album to be out. But what about you? What do you guys personally think about Trial by Fire, and how do you compare it to Panic Attack? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!